In this video, I'm going to go over 6 limiting money beliefs that I see from my clients and people that I've worked with, and honestly that I've seen in myself, that have gotten in the way of financial success. If you're interested in learning how to make more money, or just want to be more intentional with your money, or just want to figure out how to use money as a tool in your life, then this video is for you. Hi, my name is Whitney Morrison. I am a certified financial planner, the director of financial advice at LegalZoom, and the founder of Holistic Money Mapping, a financial course that addresses the spiritual, emotional, and practical components of money. In this video, we're going to talk about money beliefs, specifically 6 money beliefs that I've seen over and over that get in the way for people in their financial life. It's really easy to focus all of our attention on outer wealth work. So how do I earn more money? How do I save more money? How do I invest more money? But in order for you to make changes in your life around those specific actions that you're taking, you need to back up and start thinking about your thoughts and feelings around money. The way that you think and feel about money is actually a huge determiner of your financial success, and also a huge influencer in the actions that you take with your money. A lot of the times we learn these money stories and these money beliefs at an incredibly young age. The point of understanding and identifying your thoughts and feelings around money is just so you have a new awareness around what's subconsciously going on in your brain in the background. It can give you a lot of information, and the moment that you start to realize that you're having a limiting money belief, or that you're having a thought that's not productive with you and your money, you can stop in that moment, you can breathe, and you can recenter and refocus and realign yourself around a thought or a belief that actually is serving for you to achieve your financial goals. The first common limiting money belief I want to talk about today is I can't afford it, and I hear this one a lot. Whenever I hear someone say I can't afford it, or whenever I catch myself saying I can't afford it, it's generally untrue. Oftentimes we use I can't afford it out of context. Now, there are times when we really can't afford things, but there are a lot of times that we can, and we just tell ourselves that we cannot. The mindset associated with the thought that I can't afford it is restriction and scarcity. And what I like to do is I like to help people transform their mindset from scarcity and restriction into an investor mindset. So instead of saying I can't afford it, a better way to start thinking about things that you don't want to purchase or you're choosing not to purchase is that I choose not to invest in it. There's so much more power in the choice behind not buying something because it's not a good investment for you in your life. Another benefit of beginning to become more intentional of the times that you say you can't afford it, but really you're just choosing not to invest in it, is that you'll start to actually adopt an investor mindset in more areas of your financial life. So it may start really small. You may catch yourself being like, oh, I can't afford it. Nope, I choose not to invest in that. But then what's going to happen is you're going to start to ingrain that thought in your head. I choose not to invest in that, or I choose to invest in that. So when you start to approach everyday financial decisions, you'll have a new filter to look through. What is the return on this purchase in my life? And remember, there are all different kinds of return. There's emotional return, there's health return, there's all different ways that you can get return from your purchases. It doesn't always have to be financial return. So this very small shift in mindset can actually have huge changes in the way that you think about spending your money. Limiting belief number 2 is that debt is bad, and this one's incredibly pervasive. So many people have embarrassment or shame or fear around their debt. And what happens is that they have these thoughts that debt is bad and they're a bad person, and it makes them feel these feelings of shame and embarrassment. I know I felt that way when I was in debt. But what you have to do is get flat and start to understand that debt is neutral. There's a lot of debt that people are completely comfortable with, like mortgages or student loans, and oftentimes debt for those purchases are much higher than the consumer debt that we're so ashamed of and so afraid of to pay off. If you find yourself thinking that debt is bad, or you're embarrassed, or you're ashamed, take a deep breath and tell yourself that debt in itself is not bad. It only represents money that you owe. And in order for you to tackle your debt, you need to take the following steps. The first thing you need to do is just write down all of the debt that you have. Understand how much debt you're in and what the interest rate is for each debt. The next thing that you need to do is figure out how much money you need to make to pay off your debt within the time frame that you desire. This will help you start to focus on not only your debt payoff plan, but also on increasing your income to get out of debt as quickly as possible. If you're unhappy with the way that you actually got into debt, so let's say you're borrowing money to buy things that don't actually provide a large return for you in your life, then that's another issue that you can take care of completely separately from your debt payoff plan. Limiting belief number 3 is that your income is determined by time and efforts. We've all been conditioned to think that the American dream is hard work and putting in time and effort so you can make more money. And this is a huge problem when we think about earning and our earning potential. Time and effort are two limited resources in our life. We only have so much time and we only have so much effort that we can put into our work. So we're starting to base our income potential on two scarce resources, which automatically puts caps around how much money that we think we can earn. The way you actually want to be thinking about your income potential is you want to think about how much value you can provide, whether that's value you're providing your clients, whether that's value you're providing your boss, but it's the value that will increase your income, not your time and hard work. And just like the other two limiting beliefs, this is another mindset shift. So it really can help you start to refocus your thoughts around what it is that you can do to increase your value. Maybe it's taking a new course. Maybe it's learning a new language. Whatever it may be to help you increase your value to your customers, increase your value to your employer or the company that you work for. It's a smarter, not harder mindset. And what will begin to open up for you is you'll start to look in on your work and look in on things that you're doing from other people's perspectives. And you can start to really empathize and get what it is that people need in their lives to be more successful, which in turn allows you to be more valuable. So this is another mindset shift that will help you move from hard work and lots of effort into flow and creativity and creating value for people that need your help. Now this brings me to limiting belief number 4, which is if you give more than you receive, you'll be operating at a deficit. And this is just simply living in a scarce mindset. If you're focused on not receiving enough, then what happens is you're not focusing on giving enough. And that's going to automatically put a barrier up between you and receiving. The less you have, the less you give, the less you receive. The more you have, the more you give, the more you receive. It's counterintuitive. Our brains don't like to think this way, but we have to trust that if we put value out into the universe, that it will come back to us 10 times. Right? It may not be in that very moment that you get that return, but even if you are at your company and you're providing a ton of value that isn't immediately recognized by your boss, it will in some way or another come back to pay you. Whether a colleague or a coworker notices what a hard worker you are and ends up hiring you later down the road at the next company that they work at. There are so many different ways that when you put out value, you will receive. Maybe it's not going to be in that direct moment, but you will receive. Having the mindset that knows what you put out will come back will allow you to create a relationship with receiving. But if you're operating from a scarce mindset instead of an abundant mindset, then you will constantly be focusing on not receiving enough, which distracts you from providing the value that you need to provide to the people you're working with to fully receive what it is that you're capable of. Limiting belief number 5 is I started too late. And I hear this from people at all different ages. People in their 30s regret not starting in their 20s. People in their 40s regret not starting in their 30s, and so on and so forth. And there's a lot of comparison that happens where people are looking through Instagram or looking at their friends and family, and they're seeing how well everyone else is doing. But what they're not seeing is so many people are living outside of their means. There are a lot of people that seem like they're doing really well, but really they're in a ton of debt. And the statistics around wealth in America really prove that. But here's the thing to remember around wealth. Your wealth building trajectory will never be a linear process. People like to think that they start at some point, and as time moves forward, there's this nice linear line until they get to this magical point in time called retirement, and then they're free from the stress of their money. But wealth building never ever looks like that. What does wealth building look like? It's a jagged line. And guess what each of these inflection points on your wealth building journey represent? They represent life events. Sometimes you'll have life events that accelerate your wealth building journey, and sometimes you'll have life events that decelerate your wealth building journey. The key is to not get too overwhelmed in the process, because if you're too focused on being behind or stressed out because you don't have enough, you will miss all the opportunities that are right in front of you. It's best to remind yourself that every experience that's happened in the past, every person that you've met in the past, is informing who you are today and is contributing to the success that you will see and you will experience moving forward. So do your best to let go of the thought that I started too late, because it's merely a distraction. It's a thought that's creating a feeling that is triggering an action that's not going to be in your best interest. Limiting belief number 6 is that money is hard to make. And I actually just want to take this one through the belief cycle. So the belief cycle starts with your thoughts, and your thoughts determine your feelings. Your feelings determine your actions, and your actions determine your results. So the way that we want to work on any limiting belief is we want to look at that cycle and the results that we end up getting from our initial thought. So let's take that money is hard to make, and let's see how that makes us feel. So maybe you feel stressed or discouraged or unworthy or not valuable. All of these are common feelings that you may experience with the thought that money is hard to make. And if you have these feelings, what are the likely actions that you will take if you're feeling discouraged or stressed or unworthy? Well, the actions that you're likely not to take are to start a new business or take a risk on yourself or talk about a raise with your boss, or maybe something even much simpler like looking at your finances altogether, because you have the feelings of stress and discomfort around the idea, the thought that money is hard to make. And what happens is those actions will end up validating your initial thought. So if you find yourself thinking that money is hard to make, my suggestion is to start working on that thought. Money is not hard to make. Money is just an exchange of value in this world, right? And the more value that you put out into the world, the more comfortable you are talking about money, communicating with your clients and boss about money, the more likely you are to feel like money is easy to make, that money actually comes easy to you. The more value you provide, the more energy you put out into the world, and the more energy you will receive back, right? Money is just a representation of energy. So replace your thought, money is hard to make, with money comes easy to me. And start to think about new feelings and new actions you can take with the thought that money comes easy to me. And I guarantee you, so many more possibilities will open up for you on your money-making journey. All right, you guys, thank you so much for listening to this video today. If you're interested in doing more belief work for you and your thoughts around money, please go to my site, holistic-money.com. I have a money belief blueprint that will help you identify your limited money beliefs and help you create new abundant money beliefs to change your future with money. If you like this content today, please make sure to like, subscribe, and get notifications. It really does help out my channel. My name is Whitney Morrison. Once again, I put out new videos every Monday, and I hope to see you soon.